Good evening, everyone. This is the second special edition of the TiBLANEI talk series of Tibeto-Burman languages of Northeast India. And today our speaker is Dr. Melissa G. Wallang, and she will be delivering a talk on technology and multilingual education in context to Northeast languages. Before our executive member, Dr. Samir Debarma, moderates the session, I would like to give a brief introduction of our speaker. Dr. Melissa G. Wallang specializes in applied linguistics, ELT, minor tribal languages, inclusive education, digital archiving of sign languages, and development of multimedia curricular content, and artificial intelligence and sign languages. She has been working with the National Institute of Regional Institute of Education and NCRT Umiam Shillong, Meghalaya, and she has conducted several programs while working at NERI NCRT. She has coordinated the development of a manual on bringing on bridging the gap between home language and school language in the state of Meghalaya, manual of basic or children's vocabulary in tribal or minor languages of Northeast India, instructional material on sign languages for deaf education with reference to India, and several others. Besides this, Dr. Wallang has also conducted several research studies. Her major research was on the documentation of sign language for school education in the Northeast region in 2017. The outcome of this research is that she was awarded at the 22nd All India Children's Educational Audio Video Festival and ICT Mela for the NESL Sign Bank to support teachers and students, a multimedia-based instruction material to understand sign language and in teaching of English. She has coordinated several training programs covering her area of specialization and interest in different parts of Northeast region. Currently, she's working on the second phase of the research documentation of sign languages in the Northeastern region, and also in development of an app for enhancing communication skills in inclusive settings. I'd like to request our executive member, Dr. Samir Debarma, to kindly chair the session. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Monali. I would like to welcome Dr. Melissa G. Wallang, Associate Professor, NCRT NERI Shillong, for her presentation. Since she's working for Northeast Indian languages, she's dedicated and working on the languages. Ma'am, I would like to request you to start your presentation.
Thank you so much, Monali and Samir, for the very extensive introduction. And I can see familiar faces here. We're all friends, all linguists here. And hi to Temse. Hi to you, Samir and Pautang, and nice to meet you, Bijan Kumar. It's been a long time. I think we've been in this kind of platform. So, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Confirm. Okay. So, how many are there here online?
14 right now.
Okay.
And there might be some in YouTube Live as well.
Okay. So anyway, thank you so much for that introduction. And let me be very frank and honest. I almost forgot about the talk today because I was very busy. And also, I was telling Manali that I'm in the middle of a program also right now. I'm here at NIC Meghalaya with a team of engineers working for sign language interpretation, as well as also for development of a language e-resources of Northeast languages. So we're working every month. We are meeting and working on this. So anyway, since I also would like to mention from the very beginning that yes, I've been working in the area of multilingual education. As you heard that my background was also on teacher education. So when we talk about teacher education, we have had many experiences. I think some of you were part of my programs also, where we go for training of teachers on multilingualism, and we talk about techniques, strategies, we talk about a lot of stuff when we go for training. In fact, some of you were also part of, how we come to decide on working towards multilingual education is to build resources for the teachers. So yeah, some of you were part of development of handbooks for that also, for the purpose of MLE. Now, when we talk about, so I will just have a discussion on these points here. Like, of course, you're all linguists, and most of you are aware the importance of, multilingual education. And as an educational functionary, I will have to, my mandate is to promote mother tongue education, and my mandate is to enhance resources. My mandate is also to, support the teachers. So that is the objective that we have to keep in mind working in NERI NCRT. And we have to also keep in mind the importance of, policies. And in the context of the new education policy 2020, it talks about mother tongue education. It kind of offers space for the Northeast languages to grow. It also at the same time creates a lot of challenges. And challenges are, of course, due to many reasons. It cannot be the same for every state. We are so diverse within the Northeast context, so we have our own challenges also. So, and yes, when we talk about Arunachal Pradesh, yes, some of the language committee members that they have from the state, they have developed textbooks, they've developed, resources for the teachers. So to promote that mother tongue education, but those languages in Arunachal Pradesh are very few, and that has been integrated in school education. And not only that, they are taught as third language. So it's different from one state to another, the situation. And although we develop materials on Northeast languages to integrate in school education, we have many issues in the sense that there are no teachers to teach those languages. State does not hire, or even if they hire a few because there are no, space for teachers to be, placed in the government schools because there's no post, nothing like that. So I think that's the situation in Tripura. So although we have Kokborok teachers, but not all schools have Kokborok teachers. So this is a problem of lack of teachers, lack of resources, lack of trained teachers. Even if we talk about multilingual education, when we develop textbooks in the mother tongue or the state languages, the local languages, we still follow the monolingual policy. We really don't imbibe other languages, even in our own languages. So it's very tough to talk about multilingualism. And when we talk about promoting mother tongue education, then we are also talking about primary level teachers. Primary level teachers are not trained to teach in the multilingual context. They're trained to teach basically for promotion of literacy and numeracy. They teach basically to how to teach a language or how to teach EVS. These are the three main subjects. So at the primary level, so they are not actually trained for promoting that idea of multilingualism cannot come in most of the teachers. And here, when I talk about teachers, I'm taking the reference of government schools, government teachers in the states in the Northeast, because we deal with them. So I cannot compare mother tongue education, with elite schools or good schools or English medium schools. But yes, these are the challenges that we face when we talk about, multilingual education and the importance of multilingual education. We all are aware why we want to promote multilingual education. I'm not going to delve into that because I have a lot to say. And let me go to the challenges. This is based on, again, referring to my experiences with the government schools. So challenges to work for multilingual education in the context of Northeast languages is access. I'm talking from the technological perspective here. My topic is also on that. So the access to device internet resources to implement multilingual programs is a major factor. I think, when we are talking about generations of teachers, when it comes to government schools. So of course, thankfully, because of our past experience with the pandemic, teachers are more aware of how to use a phone and all of those things. But the challenges when we talk about Northeast languages is that we do not have the appropriate tools nor resources. And yes, we've done a little bit of research also when it comes to state government working towards, digital resources in terms of education. We find that right from in all the 8 states, the educational functionary mostly devise e-content. Just it's like translating the textbook into an e-content so that they can access. But there's no integration of,
I didn't understand that.
there's no integration of local languages or anything in such content. Rarely we'll find that also. Now, the problem is also when we talk about technology and multilingual education, there are many reasons. I know you're all aware of also of those reasons, either because of the lack of, attention by the community members towards their own languages, or simply, even if they are aware of the importance of their languages in education, the role of their tribal languages or the whatever we call minority or whatever languages, the mother tongues, either we do not have the understanding how relevant it is of its role in education. And we're not aware that, community members are also not aware that the mother tongue can improve learning outcomes in school in primary education, especially in the context of Tripura. If I'm wrong, you tell me, Samir. In the context of Tripura, what happens is that now every school is going towards English medium school. And you'll find that teachers are neither equipped to teach in English, except Bangla, and neither in the tribal languages. So the situation is very chaotic. One of the schools I visited in the South District, especially, that also I found that, the teachers were tribal. Yes, many of the students were also tribals. So Kokborok becomes the medium of instruction. But officially the school is English medium. So I entered the classes, I found that, teachers were teaching in English, or probably because I was present, so they switched to English teaching. But when I test the children of class 10, they didn't understand much of English. But when the teacher explained it in Bangla, they could understand. But there are situations, other classes where a Kokborok teacher had to come in and explain to the child, where we have to test on the learning achievements. We had a tool to test on the performance, and that is post-test. We've done pre-tests 3-4 months ago, and post-test we did recently last month. We found that even in that context, a child understood better with the mother tongue. So he performed very well because a teacher was brought in who can understand the child's language. So we can see, we witness to that, the importance of mother tongue to a child. Because if we assess a child on the basis of English, the child has failed. But if we assess the child on the basis of his language that he understands, the child passed successfully in the tools that we had designed. So when we talk about the importance of technology, now when I asked the Bangla teachers what happened, some children cannot understand even Bangla. They said, no, it's very difficult. So I said, do you have any resources and all of that? They said, no, we don't have. So then, yes. So when I started talking about all these issues, they started telling me that we need support to speak, at least to be able to code switch, not translanguaging, but to code switch at least certain concepts and ideas using the child's language. That will be very helpful. Anyway, I'll talk about it later. So now what I'm just throwing all this image in your head right now, from my experiences on mother tongue education and multilingual context. So every time we talk about multilingual education, we've understood its role, as a medium of instruction, its role in determining the learning outcomes. We've understood all of that. But many of the languages that we tackle, some languages do not have scripts, some languages, they have different varieties of different dialects of the same. So the language representation here by digital domicile, meaning the representation in the digital platform is very minimal, and minimal because of these problems that, that some efforts has to come from the community members, and in some languages it happens and in some languages it doesn't. And the diversity, the dialects within one language also is a major problem, where community members to come together to work for whatever we call a standard variety or whatever. So the inadequate support, so in terms of from the state or from the community or from societies or literature societies, or the lack of support in that platform also is a major challenge, in the sense that it doesn't come when we talk about a language, say even for me, Garo, which is the language of my state, one of the languages. To access it is very, of course, we have dictionaries, we have this and that. But nowadays, when I talk from the teacher's perspective, we need instant resources. We need instant resources. We need to develop some kind of access to the teacher. That access is possible only with technology. So the challenges in bringing in technology for Northeast languages are these, that there are no scripts, some languages, and there are languages that, the diversity is an issue that we don't even know what is the standard form. So like even when we talk about teacher training, and when we talk about teacher training, how to train the teachers to implement multilingual education, they need to know how to access multilingual resources. So tech tools also for the teachers are very minimal. In fact, yes, NCRT has done a lot of training on that, but they do it as a common platform in making, like rendering the text into e-content in digital format, but not integrative, not interactive, not fun. These kind of digital platforms are there. So these are the challenges we are facing when we talk about Northeast languages. And I feel that, yes, our languages are very good. They are capable to be used in education, many of the languages definitely. But the challenge is nowadays when we compare it with English, we are way behind. We are way behind. And that also English is found everywhere, used everywhere in every medium or media. So for a child to pick up English, it's easy. But for a child to pick up their own language, their own language, if it's used as a school language, also it's very difficult to access any resources. So when we talk about English, I would like to share with you some of the tools that are commonly used for teaching of English. These are called the alternative teaching approaches. Nowadays, many institutes, especially in the in the field of technology, in the field of engineering and technology, they are also promoting English language education, because not the mother tongue, not the home language, but rather English, because it's a global language. So what they do is that they try to introduce a lot of AI tools in teaching, in acquiring competence and performance in English. So they use these tools. So these application like machine learning in English, like speech recognition technology, supervised learning algorithms, and unsupervised, you can see it here. So these technology nowadays can actually enhance learning of English, and in a way that, you can supervise your own learning progress. You can also get instant feedback, and you can redo and rework. So these AI tools are available. So you can see that these are the things that I'm sharing with you, just for you to have an idea and how they function. And you can see I will not read one by one, but I'm just sharing it with you that these are just few selected tools which we have selected for one of the College of Technology in Vellore Institute, that they are using, integrating in teaching of English to promote the 4 skills of English. So they're using it for different purpose, and you can see that some are focusing on building authentic materials, real life situations. Like, for example, Elsa here. You can see that it teaches children to actually speak in a natural conversation, and children can actually pick up the language and get instant feedback. So I'll be sharing this slide with you so that you can have an idea. So why I'm sharing here all these tools, I'll just go through again. You can see slowly. Speechify, Grammarly. Grammarly, of course, you're aware, but Grammarly, now it has AI-powered tools as well that will help the writer who is writing in English to correct his grammar. And then Ginger language tool. These are the common tools available for English. So now my point of sharing this is that I want you to understand is that when we talk about enhancing multilingual education, mother tongue education, enhancing those languages for integration in the school, we really need to look at the technology that is available for English. How can we enhance multilingual resources? Of course, I've done in the past also, I think Monali has read, we have done a manual on bridging home language and school language and all of that. Sometimes it comes in a thick book and thick dictionaries and all of that. So it's very difficult to maneuver those thick books, for a teacher teaching every day, dealing with young children, having to handle not only the subject, but having to handle the emotional status and social status in the classroom. So we need something which, teachers can really bring about fun, exciting things in their own language in the class. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is also that you can see that, you can suppose you work on your own language. Samir is working on Kokborok and all that. How Kokborok can further be enhanced into learning materials, educational materials? How can you do that? You can actually take the help of AI tools. You can see this Bloom reading app builders. These are apps that are available that you can integrate Kokborok into as an educational resource, as an educational material, as a material that a student can use independently. Also, sometimes can be designed where teachers can use to bridge, their teaching as well. So, yes, when we talk about the opportunities that technology give us is that, you have to support policies, also policies now, NEP, UNESCO, you'll see that they are talking about the importance of mother tongue. They're talking about, the role of technology in advancing MLE. So, yes, e-content is one thing that we are very familiar with, e-content in the language. And you will find that archiving of Northeast languages are mostly related to archiving of folk tales, folk stories, and all of that. Yes, stories is very important where we can promote language learning. But there are times that we have to start talking about availability of your languages in a phone, where a teacher can access it immediately, can understand. Even I had problems when I was in Tripura also. But immediately when I used the app on Tripura Talks, which I will show you, even the moment I used that, I started picking up a word, the word color in Kokborok. When I started using it with a child in the classroom, he suddenly, he was surprised that I could speak that language. And then immediately he became friendly with me, and immediately he started opening up and using the child's language, even though we can't really say that they don't know English for me, because I use English with them. But the moment I started using the mother tongue, one or two words in the mother tongue of the child started opening up to me. Then I realized, yes, he understood many English words. But sometimes, a child doesn't open up because of other conditions, of course, other things. But the moment you started speaking his language, they feel that they're part and parcel of the group. And they also give a sense of belonging. And it gives me also a sense of belongingness with them the moment I started using their language. So these are opportunities nowadays that when we talk about promoting multilingual education or promoting the Northeast languages, we have to focus our attention towards how do we bring in tech tools, to promote these languages. Documentation in dictionary is fine, but we need to further formulate it into educational materials. We need to formulate into materials where children can use, can have fun, can interact, can do something with in their own language, So you see this Binogi also is another app. It's available. You can see it online. They have videos in multiple languages for STEM, the science, the teaching of science and maths here. So it allows teachers to incorporate content in students' mother tongue, and it supports teachers learning, the pedagogical process in the classroom. It becomes more easier for teachers. It takes less time for teachers to teach, because technology does everything. The visual medium, the audio visual, and the entire design of a content which incorporates audio and visual. It enhance and augment the teaching process for the teacher. So if you integrate in a bilingual or a multilingual scripted material, it enhances more understanding to the child. It captivates, their mind. You immediately get attention of the child. So how do we bring in technology with our Northeast languages? That we need to start thinking. And the forces of English is very strong, definitely, in many states, because at the end of the day, schools will promote what parents desire, and they all desire for English. Many of them, many of the parents, community members are not aware of the importance of mother tongue for learning outcomes, but rather they were telling me also, I met a group of parents, many group of parents in different contexts in Northeast. They said, no, if teachers are teaching, if it's an English medium school, and if teachers are teaching English as a subject also, they should be speaking in English. It's fair also, because for many teachers or for many parents, many of them do not speak English at home. So they said, if they don't get English in school, what's the point of sending them? Excuse me. So that, of course, from the school perspective, these are the challenges also that we have to take into consideration. But the forces of English is very strong. The attraction towards English is very strong. But the technology that is available for English is very strong also. So it's good that we are here, this group, because we really need to rethink in how to integrate technology in our languages, because that will enable our language to be at par with the dominant languages. So I want to show you this app, Tripura Talks. This is an app that we designed for Tripura, and Samir and Temse were part of it. We had decided to how to to bridge the home language and school language, and to handle the diversity in the classroom. We develop a prototype where the digital platform, this is accessible through a phone, Android phone, where we had languages. All these are the languages, 9 languages of Tripura, 9 languages of Tripura, 9 languages that are used in school education in Tripura. So we had to, we integrate all these languages, and we test it in the field for teachers, because some teachers are posted in different parts of the state. Those who doesn't know the children's language, they have found that this app to be useful. And yes, we did, these are the methodology. We did an online workshop. We did many things for this, where we actually gather the speakers, the native speakers of these languages, to give inputs on each and every word item. And we did this online. We didn't physically go and do, conduct surveys and collect word data, but rather we did it online. And with, of course, monitoring by Samir also had helped us. And the state SCRT also had helped us. So we try to work on, I wanted to see whether, when we talk about resources, we need instant resources. We need instant solution for many teachers. For government, simple government teacher, they want simple instant solutions. So we did it, and we tested in with many of the trainees, which we trained 40 of them. We trained with 40 of them. We tested. We give the app to them, and they are using it. And yes, they you can see here, the app features word translation and list of words and word games. So if you children can also play and learn other languages through this design activity in a game format. And then when we wanted word translations, we have, you can click on this and you will find if you want it from English to Halam, or Halam to English, or English to Bangla, or Kokborok to Bangla. We had many multiple access. If I'm a Khasi speaker, or if I'm a Halam speaker, or if I'm a Kokborok speaker, I can access to English. But if I don't know any of these languages, I can also access from English. So we did this, just a prototype. We presented, because based on, you can see here, the sample. From Manipuri to Kokborok also you'll get, from English to Bengali also you'll get. Even the audio input, how to pronounce the word, you will also hear. So you can see this is a language game. how do you say Bengali in Bengali word in English, a Bengali word in English, 40 aeroplane. These kind of games are there, which children can, play together as a group or individually also. Depends on, of course, this has to be integrated with the pedagogical process in the classroom to be guided by the teachers. So these are just samples that I'm showing here. The benefit is that the access to mother tongue support for the teachers in Tripura is very important, because that I've seen it myself. We have done a lot of work with Tripura. And then, yes, interactive learning experience was visible and promotes a sense of belonging, and the fun, engaging word games is actually very vibrant. And, I have video clips, but I didn't incorporate here. You could see that they were working together, learning together. But of course, the words that we have listed here as a prototype was very few, so we could pick up some educational concepts where we can actually see how the learning process takes place. So for teachers, yes, integration of multilingual application, it improves communication with students. And in fact, one of the teachers said, now at least I am aware of what is this and that in Kokoro, although posted in, I forgot the district, in near the autonomous district area. I went, I forgot the name, but we went to 2-3 schools there. In fact, 3 schools, minimum of 3 schools in one district we had gone to see. And even now, we are still sending to the teachers this app to test it. You can see the feedback also we've collected from the teachers. These are from the trainees that we conducted a training this year in the month of February on multilingual education. So teachers have given us inputs also, and you can see the effective aspect of this app. And Samir, you'll be glad to know also that the Education Secretary is going to enhance this app in the meeting last month, and they're going to take it over. We're going to hand it over to them to expand this app. So to expand it with all the community members of each language. So the language minority officers will be working. So we will hand it over to the state. They want it actually. Now, another aspect of beyond apps also, like let me just share with you that I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but when we compare the dominant languages and our Northeast languages, I feel that we need to strengthen the digital tools that we have in our own languages. So what I'm doing currently in this program also, I'm working on the development of digital language e-resources of Northeast languages. Some of you were part of it. I'll just click on this link. To log in here, Sachin, will Sachin? Just call Sachin. Just give me a second. Okay, it's working. Yeah. Right now I'm working on this. This is language e-resources that I'm trying to take from all the languages. I think Dr. Pauthang was part of this also. Dr. Pauthang, you can see the result of the workshop that that you attended last time, where we are trying to just let me move this icon a little bit. Yeah. So here, if you can see this Northeast lingo, right now we are still working, so you can't see exactly what is inside. So the Northeast lingo, many have have suggested in the workshop. We had 22 languages in the first workshop, and I think we've increased the languages to 28 right now. The Northeast lingo will function like Tripura Talks. Why I had shown earlier is Tripura Talk works for the one state only, that is 9 school languages. But here in this resources, the Northeast lingo, if you can see right now, it's under construction. That's why it's not working. But each state we have collected languages, and the Northeast Lingo will be an app where it will function like Tripura Talks. Immediately you will get a translation. Immediate translation you will get, and we have collected more than 5,000 words and phrases of each languages. And right now we have, for Assam we have Karbi, Dimasa, Tiwa, just a minute, and Duri. So here Northeast languages, so even we were thinking that we might include Assamese also, even the scheduled languages, because those languages, whatever are used in the school, we want to integrate it in this language resources, so that whether it's scheduled or non-scheduled, we want to include it. So right now you will find it in PDF format. The information on this information on each of the languages also are provided to us by language experts, so that it become a resources of for the teacher educators, for those who are working on languages, researching or developing or documenting the languages. It becomes a resource for those, so it will be available for everybody in the Northeast context dealing with educational purpose. So you will find that, yes, we have incorporated alphabets also. Why we are creating these resources? It's because we want to develop more specific, well-designed, subject-based for pedagogical process, level-wise. These right now is a very rough resources on these languages, but the main thing is the Northeast Lingo. This Northeast Lingo will be working instantly for any languages information that you require. You will get in this Northeast Lingo. The resources, of course, there will be right now some of the windows are not working because it's under construction. And linguistic profile of Northeast languages, these have been contributed by linguists and those who have attended our workshops in the past, and also from representatives of literature society, all of that. So we're trying to work on promoting Bhasha Sangam. Bhasha Sangam is the list of 100 sentences designed to promote multilingualism by NCERT, by the Ministry of Education. So that also we are incorporating here. So certain things, I cannot show everything here, but bilingual by scripted word list of Nepali and Metelon also is here. The spelling is wrong, Sachin, here. So some of the things we bilingual word lists of Paula, Khasi, and Monpa also we are putting. But this will be just PDF right now, e-content format, but all of these will be designed to, will integrate AI tools, any AI tools for, designing it as a video for young children or for upper primary, or upper primary meaning up to class 8. We're trying to go up to class 8 as per NEP 2020. So at the moment, what you're seeing is that we're just creating a web-based platform using technological tools to organize information, language data, and then we also have, of course, we have not finished. We wanted to include research and publications that have been done in the languages of the Northeast. And we also want to incorporate more on the languages and social science, indigenous knowledge and traditional knowledge. These are all have been contributed by members of each community, so that we can design content in language learning, content that can be used for teaching of EVS, social science, in these languages. So, sorry, the internet is very slow. So, just a minute. I'm not sharing the screen.
Yeah, ma'am, we are not able to see the other window
Oh,
that you
why
were
didn't you
sharing.
tell me? I was clicking from here and okay, let me share. Oh, what do I do? Stop share this one, then I'll share. Just a minute. No, not this one, no. Yeah, this one. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was talking. Yeah, let me go to the wait, let me go to the window. Yeah, can you see it? Navy
Yes, yes.
language e-resources. You can see it, no? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. This is, I'll start again. This is Neri language e-resources. The aim here is to bring in information, linguistic information, socio-cultural information of the Northeast languages in this platform to enable textbook developers, those who are working on linguistic description or documentation of the languages, information, historical information about each languages also we are trying to bring in this web platform. So like in this language and social science matlab, we are trying to bring in the indigenous knowledge, traditional knowledge, or oral history also in this platform. We are just building resources for now. We are not designing any educational content, but as you can see here, the resources, there are a list of alphabets, Bhashathon, e-content. I think in e-content right now we have yeah, in e-content we are still working on uploading. Yeah, right? Yeah. So folk stories also, yeah, we're still working, but we have the data we've collected from many language speakers. We in the first workshop we worked for 24 languages. Now we have almost 32 languages, double, and we are still in the process of getting more information. And in this linguistic profile of Northeast languages also, we are still trying to gather information. And like I said earlier, contribution from linguists, contribution from native speakers, representatives of literature societies, communities, we are taking their help by interviewing, going to the field. Some have done online. Like, for example, the main aspect of this web resource is the Northeast lingo. Like I said earlier, more than 5,000 words we have collected. In fact, it's going on, corrections also is going on. So each state also we have the information. Like Assam, we have 5 languages at the moment. And Meghalaya, we have Khasi. And in Sikkim, we have 3 languages at the moment. And Manipur, yeah, we have around 5. And these languages, these information were contributed by those who have attended our online workshops and offline workshops as well. So, but in this Northeast Lingo, this button, if you can see this one, this will function as an app where, like I said earlier, instant translation, instant information will be available through a mobile app. It will render into a mobile app. And of course, it will be hosted here in this web platform. So then from all these resources, state-wise, we are still working on it. We are still gathering it. And then these information on maths and science, which we have collected, I think we have not been able to upload as of now, because right now, yeah, you can see, matlab, when we say Assam maths, we need to change many things, huh? It's not Assam maths, okay? mathematical terms in Assamese. These were the contribution of our students from Assamese. Like I said, that non-schedule, schedule, but we are still working on Northeast languages. So a teacher may be teaching in Assam, speaking Assamese, but doesn't know the tribal languages or the minority languages of Assam. But we also want our children to pick up Assamese, even if they speak another language. So we're trying to just gather everything right now as raw data, but we need next phase, next workshop, we are going to work towards, how to make these resources into this language lab. Right now, we are hosting for O labs. This is online labs for, picking up English, teaching English, reading English, students, teachers, or even students. So this is OLAB has been done by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, but we want the Northeast languages to be incorporated in this kind of design. So I'm just showing it to you because this is what our final plan, that we will be developing materials on mother tongue. So I cannot go back here. Where is that button? Yeah. Where's that button? Yeah. Yeah. So the language lab, whatever resources that you see here, resources here, folk stories or whatever information about the state's languages, then the research publication, like I said earlier, that these will be hosted based on the contribution of those experts that we are inviting from each language community. That will be hosted here also, that will be used to formulate teacher educators will be called experts, English language experts, language expert per se, those who can develop help us in devising a learning platform that will function as a lab in these languages, and that also will be biscriptive, multilingual, and multimodal format, which we want to incorporate. It's a lot of work, so we're trying to find out ways and means of what tools and technology that can be used as per our desire, whether we want to teach what aspect of language. So we want to test these tools also. Probably we may not be able to work with 125 languages, but we will definitely try to work with 50 languages, at least 3 to 4 languages from one state. Then just for testing, just for, seeing whether, how do we actually promote our languages, the Northeast languages, in the context of, in the context of multilingual education, fighting the forces of this globalized world that we're talking about English now, the desire for English. But to enhance multilingual education is like every time we talk about strategies, translanguaging and code switching, all those strategies that we expect our teachers. Recently also there was a talk from Cambridge University also regarding this, that they are experimenting. I think Bautang will know better. JNU is part of it also, and NCRT, where they're trying to come up with strategies of, implementing multilingualism. But they're talking in the context of dominant languages like Telugu, and other languages which are already available. Extensive materials are available, extensive resources are available. But when we talk about multilingualism in the context of Northeast, the challenges is that we do not have access to our languages easily, like dominant languages. And if we talk about multilingualism, it's like we are preaching inclusive education. We're just preaching, but rather not supporting. So I feel that for me, we've been working on sign language and documenting sign language. I feel that the same can be done for our minority languages, and how to strengthen the role of technology in our languages. So I think I will not speak so much anymore. So I'm also extremely tired. So I'll conclude my talk here, and hopefully it is helpful. And hope if I'm wrong about the role of technology, please tell me. But I feel that to strengthen our languages, we need to strengthen the integration of technology in our languages so that we can use it easily. We can reach out to many, and others also can understand the strength of our languages. So thank you so much. They can hear me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melissa. Samir, can you please unmute? The session is open for discussion. If there is any question,
Feedback will be very helpful.
Haukip, would you like to say something? Haukip.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for your very elaborate talk on multilingual education and trying to bridge the gap between underprivileged children studying mother tongue and also English together. So those presentations will help a lot if it is implemented on the ground. So being also an active participant of your work, the kind of work that we do in the last conferences or workshop, those are also stepping step, because at this juncture of time, not many literature exists in these languages. So before we begin trying to utilize these tools, software tools which can enhance mother tongue teaching to a great extent, the first priority is to develop basic materials. So in that front, your center, your institute is doing well, and I hope this will go a long way. And in a few years' time to come, we will have a better corpus of all the tribal languages in Northeast India. And that's my limited point.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Hari, Melissa.
Hi, Hari. All friends are here.
Yeah, so Dr. Pauthang sir has, shared me the link. I thought I should not miss this, and also the topic, what you were talking about, I was like captivated, especially multilingual education and the kind of experience, lots of the kind of mainly the e-resources, so to say, you have developed, the
Yeah.
Tripura talk and other things, which is really helpful. You see, just I was wondering, one of the things, let's say, beginning with primary and upper primary. So problem with the mother tongue, as you have rightly pointed out, that majority of the parents, they want education, at least some, they want the education in their mother tongue, and majority, at least because of this linguistic imperialism, whether you talk about English or other state languages, very dominant in a way. So some of them, they also want that not in mother tongue education, but rather in either that state dominant languages. So this is one of the things, mainly the attitude and the personal level. We all know the answers as well, the economic benefits and other stuff. But what I was wondering, especially looking at the e-content you developed, you see, and looking at, showing some kind of social science subject at the same time science subjects, so mathematics, and let's say sports also. And you said that still you are developing this, e-resources.
Yes.
So I was just, you are showing some kind of slides of, SMEs, and where only the terminology are there. Only, something what is called algebra is Bijgonit. The question is that, are we teaching them that algebra in that particular language, that especially the instructions you see, which maybe in the next phase is not necessarily in majority of the cases. In multilingual cases, if you look at, we just more or less develop certain kind of curriculum or framework in this, mainly in the language, more or less. We're not dealing with the other subjects, either sports or
Yeah.
other, yeah, physics and other stuff, more or less, you see, mathematics and other stuff. And this is where we are lacking. In many cases we are lacking, you see. Just we start with the language subject, and teachers more or less know more detailed about the language subjects and not dealing with other subjects, even history for that matter, if you look at it. So there are many ways, and so this is where I was thinking, maybe you have already taken the initiative, developing the content, especially the e-content and the subject content, in a much rigorous manner, which would be helpful for not only for those respective languages and the children, but at the same time in the national level, you also lead us, in this direction. You see, this model would be helpful in other languages as well. So thank you, Melissa. It's really, I enjoyed this talk, and especially your presentations and others. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari. Actually, you are right. Well, the thing is, like I said at the beginning, no, although we are trying the minority languages, community members, and all that from different sections of these languages, they're trying to work towards even Khasi. I'll give you an example. It's monolingual. We are preaching multilingualism, but our materials are still monolingual. So even if we talk about mother tongue education, even if we talk about home language, we visualize a textbook to be monolingual only. But that idea, that spirit of multilingualism cannot, I mean, it has not even sunk in, even in educational sectors. Why are we really still monolingual in our practice, in our textbooks development? So this is the problem. And then, like I said, that people are still unaware of the importance of mother tongue for learning outcomes. Because like my experience, like I saw with the children, is that if you teach the children, of course, even if it's an English medium, definitely, you still use your mother tongue. That is the truth. That is like from the teacher's mouth, that whatever you say, even if you say English is a medium of instruction in English dominated states, it's still very much multilingual, in the sense that there is the local dialect of the child, the state language, and the school language. It's mostly always multilingual. That is the the way things happen in real classroom. And my point here is that we are still very much practicing monolingual, in terms of resources for the teachers. So to encourage multilingual, there are some, of course, who fear that, okay, if you use too much of a home language or this local language, the state language, whatever category of language we are introducing, and in our English textbook, they say, no, this will not help the students. This will not help them to understand, but they don't understand that I would understand better if my teacher can explain to me in my language. That aspect is there. That's why we're trying to, even because, the local languages do have terms for, geometry, for algebra, for many things. There are languages that are capable to explain those things in the same manner as English does. So that's why we're trying to capture. But we are trying to also introduce Sanskrit, because Sanskrit is also part and parcel of the CBSE schools now. So even in the language e-resources, whatever documentation we're having, we're trying to bring in Sanskrit also, because it's an interesting language, and we want to really encourage multilingualism. So right now, what I've displayed to all of you is just a raw data of everything. So like the language lab will function as a lab for promoting of mother tongues. It can be bilingual possible, that in one state we can bring in all the languages, or maybe we can see as linguists, we have to compare and contrast what languages that we can really bring in together for multilingual learners, we can say. So I will need your help, and it's good that you are all here because I'll be calling for workshop. Yeah.
Maybe if I'm allowed one more kind of.
Yeah.
So what I was talked about the translation issue and where, Sanskrit has also predominant role here, translating things. And now if you look at this translation practice, not only Sanskrit in Indian context, now we are in a choice either to go ahead with the English terminology, which is more or less accepted to us, and go ahead with Sanskrit terminology. Using the Sanskrit or Hindi-based terminology, at times it is too confusing, like whether it's this and that, this is where the problem now. And definitely talking about language, generative perspective of language, that every language is so creative or generative, we can come up with any terminology, either algebra, geometric, not a problem. But here the problem is that we do not exercise our mind more or less to get the word from those either indigenous, tribal, or our own language, simply get the words from Sanskrit, and which is really confusing. Recently, this inclusion of classical language, the word classical. So I tried to, like ask many people that what do you call classical? Because we say, like classical language, what is classical languages? And recent kind of recognition and, 6 classical languages we all know. Now, if you look at classical languages and majority of the Indo-Aryan languages, it's called, let's say, Shastriya Bhasha or Draupadi Bhasha. Shastriya Bhasha and Draupadi Bhasha. Now, this is the terminology. Draupadi Bhasha classical is translated as Draupadi in Bangla as well in Assamese. So I was asking many people, do you understand this terminology? So Bengali newspaper is saying that Draupadi Bhasha. But I was asking many Bengali speakers, are you aware of this terminology? They said, no, like this is where the problem now. So whether to retain Draupadi or Shastriya Bhasha also, Shastriya Bhasha in Indian context is little confusing now.
Yes.
So this is where the problem of translation now, to come up with a new set of words, of indigenous words also, again, it's a mind-boggling exercise for many of us. So what do you, let's say, suggest in that case? Because we all are facing this, issue of kind of translation from one language to another language. This is what do you?
Yeah, the thing is that the same thing we also face even with this Northeast lingo. There are some terms, even like, of course, some of the native signers do have an idea of what exactly the term that they normally use. It's available in a smaller context or a smaller area that they use this, but other areas, they say we don't have such term. So we can't really as linguists, we can't really, I feel like we don't have the right to say anything, but rather the community should come up with those things, those terms. I don't know, but that's why there are certain things that we just leave it blank for now. Let the what we call authoritative group, selected authoritative group authorized by somebody can come up with it. There's some, legitimacy of such terms has to come up with those people who has the authority towards that language, no? So it functions differently in different states. Who actually decides on the language, the correctness of the language. So the same thing is also for sign language. Also, I have found that we just have to, we really don't know. Even I really don't know.
Thank you so much, Hari Madhavre, for your comments and query. And it was a very enlightening talk, and we got to learn so much about the apps that we can use for multilingual education. Thank you so much, Dr. Melissa G. Wallang. I would like to know if Samir would like to have any comments as he was chairing the session. Samir, can you hear me?
Yeah, Monali, it's okay. I don't have any comments.
Okay. Then I would like to move on to our Joint Secretary, Bijen Kumar, for your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Monali. It was a very enlightening and engaging talk that we had this evening as the first talk of our second edition for the special talk series, which is organized by TiBLANEI. So there was lots of things that I got to know today, as Monali also rightly pointed out.
Slight problem with the slide.
Okay, so so as I was proposed to give the vote of thanks, at the first I would like to thank our speaker for today's talk, Dr. Wallang, and the Monali as well, and all other participants who were actively engaged during our discussion time. And I extend my heartfelt thanks to our friend from JNU, Hari Madhavre, who have joined us for the first time, and we look forward to you also, so that you can join us in the other program that we organize in organize on online mode. So after this, we are going to have the second talk on the 6th of December from Pavel. So we are about to release our next flyer very soon. So once again, I would like to thank Dr. Melissa G. Wallang for your such and insightful inputs and sharing your initiative that you have taken for the Northeast languages, especially that you sharing with those, you know, ICT enabled tools that you have been, incorporating. And especially it's been kind of, igniting also when you saw that Tripura talks that the same kind of thing also can be, initiated by others for their language. That's one idea that I got in mind. So thank you very much for that. So
Thank you.
I think, yeah. So with this remark, I would like to close today's talk of the ICT TiBLANEI, that is on the special talk series. So thank you once again, and thank you everyone.
Thank you
Monali, if you
from
have
my
any,
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right,
Thank
yeah.
you
Monali,
from
if you
my
have any
side.
announcement, okay.
For
Yeah, ma'am can go on.
Manali,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that lovely to be in this platform and lovely to see friends again. And hopefully, I look forward to working also more on this with all of you. And also, do invite me for other lectures also to listen. Okay. So thank you so much from my side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melissa G. Wallang. It was really a pleasure to listen to you. Thank you, Bijen. Thank you, everyone.